Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dian Ramadani, and here I would like to explain about portfolio assessment. First, let's define what is the definition of portfolio. Portfolio are collection of students' activity, accomplishments, and achievements to demonstrate the growth over time, offering an alternative authentic assessment for students and teachers. So, what is portfolio assessment? Portfolio assessment is an evaluation uh, tool used to document students' learning through a series of students' developed artifacts. Considered a form of authentic assessment, it offers an alternative or an addition to traditional methods of grading a high-stake exams. The purpose of portfolio assessments are: portfolio assessment gives a profile of learners' abilities in terms of depth, breadth, and growth. And second is, portfolio assessment develop awareness of own learning by the students. And the next is, portfolio assessment promotes independent and active learners. Portfolio assessment also can improve motivation for learning those achievements. Portfolio assessment caters to individuals in a heterogeneous class. And the last is, portfolio assessment provides opportunities for students-teacher dialogue. And here's the difference between traditional assessment and portfolio assessment. In traditional assessment, the teacher measures students' ability at one time, while in portfolio assessment, the teacher measures students' ability over time. In traditional assessment, the assessment done by teacher alone. Students often unaware of criteria, while in portfolio assessment done by teacher and students. Students also aware of criteria. In traditional assessment conducted outside instruction, while in portfolio assessment embedded in instruction. In traditional assessment assigns students a grade, while in portfolio assessment involves students in own assessment. In traditional assessment doesn't capture the range of students' ability, the range of students' language ability, while in portfolio assessment capture many facets of language learning performance. And traditional assessment doesn't include the teacher's knowledge of students as a learner, while in portfolio assessment allow for expression of teachers' knowledge of students as a learner. In traditional assessment doesn't give students responsibility, while in portfolio assessment students learn how to take responsibility. Fosters and masters distinguish portfolio assessment into three groups. They are working portfolio, documentary portfolio, and showcase portfolio. First, what is working portfolio? Working portfolio is all collections of work on a subject or competency at a certain time period. In the world of education, a student's work portfolio in writing competence, for example, includes all student writing in the form of notes, initial draft, semi-finished draft, draft before the final, and final writing. The work portfolio has formative and diagnostic functions. For students, a portfolio of works as material for students' reflection. For teacher, as teacher input to help students identify weaknesses, strengths, and design strategies to help students achieve the expected competencies. The components in work portfolio consist of: first, portfolio content; second is portfolio development; third is portfolio conference, fourth is teacher's notebook, fifth is parental involvement, and the last is the involvement of study friends. And the next is documentary portfolio. What is documentary portfolio? Document portfolio is a collection of students' work on a subject in a certain period of time, which is specifically used for assessment. Unlike a work portfolio, which contains all the work, both semi-finished and finished, the documentary portfolio contains only the best selected work submitted for assessment. The documentary assessment has a functions in serve both a summative and formative assessment. Functioning as a summative in the sense of showing the results or achievement of students in a particular subject or competency. Function as summative in the sense that the results of the documentation portfolio assessment provide information about students' achievements used by teachers to help students achieve the expected competencies. For example, a student's documentary portfolio in writing, which shows the student's strength, for example, in constructing sentence, and also student weaknesses, for example, in grammar problems, in the form of stories, can be followed up with appropriate learning strategies to achieve the expected competencies. And the third is showcase portfolio, which is a portfolio that used to show the best result reproduced by students in a particular subject or competency. Unlike a documentary portfolio that contains proof of the process in producing a product, the private portfolio only contains products that have been completed. The showcase portfolio doesn't contain evidence of work process, repairs, and product improvement. This portfolio is designed to assess students' best work in a particular competency. The usefulness of the selected portfolio for the purpose of summative assessment depends on two things. The first is the relevance of the portfolio content on the competencies being measured, and the second is the authenticity of the product or student's work. The components in showcase portfolio, like I have mentioned before, the components of showcase portfolio are the relevance of the portfolio content to the competencies being measured, and the second is the authenticity of the product or student's work. And there are pros and cons of portfolio assessment. First is the pros. The first pros is students revisit and reflection on their growth, and the second is limited number of pieces of evidence can certify students' learning, and the last is students can focus on self-improvement. And the cons of portfolio assessment are the scoring that is timely reliable and the time-consuming reflection process or sharing. Assessment of students' learning outcomes can use various ways. Portfolio is only one assessment tool. As a tool, portfolio has advantages and disadvantages. Therefore, it is important for teachers to understand the characteristic of each form, assessing and selecting instruments that suit the needs so that optimal benefits can be obtained from a tool. That's all. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.